Blenheim Palace is quite unlike any other stately home. From its unmistakable Baroque magnificence to its place in history as a monument to a great British battle and where Winston Churchill was born, to events which changed the world. To the 11th Duke of Marlborough, Blenheim is home, but it's also a business, dependent on visitors to help pay for its upkeep. 7 days a week, the Duke shares his palace with strangers who come from near and far to feast their eyes on the historic family heirlooms. Blenheim is the gift of a grateful nation, a thank you present from Queen Anne to the first Duke, John Churchill, for winning a decisive battle against the French in 1704.
Blenheim, for me, is an important part of our national heritage, but not only our national heritage. Blenheim is a World Heritage Site. So it has been my task, and a wonderful one. I'm very proud of being an owner, but it's been my task to ensure that this place is kept in pristine condition so that future generations and future visitors from all parts of the world will be able to come to Blenheim and enjoy its wonderful treasures and these beautiful surroundings. I always say it's a labour of love. I love this place. I mean, I worship it, and I do all I can to ensure its future.
With Americans travelling less than they used to, Blenheim is looking east to that future and to the newly wealthy Chinese.
And we're one of the leading health food company in China, and also is our sales managers from different area. And every year we hold this incentive, the program, to travel all the world. And this year we come to the England. This is the first group. Probably next year, so we're going to have another couple thousand here.
Excellent.
Excellent. Can I put a function here?
Yes, yeah, cool.
Here?
Yeah.
Can I put it on the table here?
No, at the back, yes, at the back we can, yes. Okay. Yeah.
Mr. Lee is excited by the potential of Blenheim's parade ground. He thinks it would be just the place to entertain his Chinese sales force.
Okay. In the evening, yes.
In the evening?
Big bucks.
Oh, well. We have a lot of bucks here. If we have a chance, we may bring more people, probably hold a big gala dinner for more than 1,000 people. We'd like to have this opportunity.
With Chinese food?
Yeah, no, with fish and chips.
Blenheim is renowned as the birthplace of Winston Churchill, the Duke's godfather. And the palace basks in the glory of the man many reckon to be the greatest Briton who's ever lived.
At Blenheim Palace, a ground floor bedroom heard his first cries. In the closing years of Queen Victoria's reign, he came to manhood.
He loved Blenheim. He came here quite often to Blenheim. And of course, in the grounds here, at the Temple of Diana, is where he proposed to his future wife, Clementine. He came to spend Christmas here in 1937. And he drew me aside and he said, I have a Christmas present for you. And I thought this was very exciting from this great man to be given a Christmas present. And he presented me with a gold watch, gold fob. It's a most amazing thing because inside there's an inscription which says to Blanford from Winston Spencer-Churchill. And on the opposite side it says, remember John Churchill and William Cadogan. So I had a very fortunate upbringing in connection with Winston Churchill, and I've always been, of course, a tremendous admirer of him and the way he conducted himself in the war and subsequently after the war.
Before we start in here, I'll show you where the Tower of Bladon Church is, because that's where Winston Churchill is buried, and there's a nice little story about that, which we sometimes don't get in. So if you use the cord of the blind as a marker, being the great man he is, Winston Churchill would normally have been buried in Westminster Abbey, but he loved Blenheim so much that he wanted to be buried in the site of Blenheim Palace. and there's a clause in his will which states that the dukes have got to keep the trees on the edge of the parkland cut down so that he still retains a view of the palace to this day.
Winston Churchill is also revered in a permanent exhibition at the palace. Each year, Blenheim hosts a lavish gala dinner in Churchill's memory and invites a prominent guest speaker to reflect on his legacy.
This is the Churchill Memorial Concert. It's actually an annual event. We're in our 41st year, and it was originally set up as a tribute to Sir Winston and to benefit something called music therapy. And in fact now, I mean, it's really, we support local charities, so it's a fundraiser, and it takes the form of a concert. And then we have a guest speaker who gives the tribute about Sir Winston. Well, of course, we used to have people who knew Sir Winston, but those are, of course, few and far between now. So I came chairman about 6 years ago, I think. So took the view that we would invite prominent members of our allies during the war to come and speak. So tonight it's very exciting because we're fortunate to have President Gorbachev giving the tribute. It's a pretty important event, and we like to make it a fun evening. I mean, it's a black tie event, it's very prestigious. The format is pretty much the same. It's really just whoever is the speaker, the music. Obviously, we do change the music. This year we've got Oxford Philharmonic, who are wonderful. And we have a couple of Russian soloists. So I've sort of given the evening a Russian theme with the music and with the food, etc. So, you know, it's a whole experience.
I've got some very professional people here, and I've got a wonderful team, and they know the form. We've done it before, and it's a question of merely fitting the pieces of the jigsaw into the puzzle. And by 6:30 this evening, the puzzle should be ready.
The key to the puzzle is meeting the Duke's exacting expectations. His Grace has personally decided what his guests will have for dinner, even down to the manner in which it's prepared and served.
And are you actually going to be there watching the canapes, getting dressed and going out? Or
I'm doing the canapes.
You are doing the canapes, that's great.
Yeah, we've got canapes from downstairs. That'll be going about for 6:30, 7 o'clock. Okay. All plated up. We've got half an hour window for the canapes.
Yeah, okay. So you're good. We've got all of the production for the dinner tonight. All takes place over here in the Orangery. These are our central production unit kitchens. So all of the food any minute now will be packed up and ready to move over to the palace. Because although it's only 100 yards away, it may as well be 100 miles away because we've got to pack everything up and get it over there. So basically what's happening now, it looks relatively calm and controlled because all of the prep's been taking place for the last couple of days. Every time we do an event for His Grace, it's obviously daunting. You know, this is his home. We're very, very proud and passionate to be working here at Blenheim Palace. And the key things about His Grace is you've got to know that he wants it quick and he wants it hot and no messing around. And when you know what his hot buttons are, then hopefully you get it right.
He likes good old-fashioned traditional food, nothing wrong with that. He likes his smoked salmon plain, with brown bread and butter, a bit of lemon. He likes crispy roast potatoes. It's like a proper Sunday lunch, really. He just wants roast fillet, gravy, potatoes, glacé carrots, very traditional, very simple. But we've got to be mindful that, you know, there's a lot of guests come in who are paying a lot of money to attend. So we've also got to make it a bit of a wow factor for them as well.
In the Long Library, final preparations are being made for the Churchill Memorial Concert.
The Long Library occupies the whole of the West Wing, and it's one of the longest rooms in a private house in this country. The organ at the end by Henry Willis, put in by the 8th Duke, and it's used frequently whenever there is a function here, it's played. Today, there is a Churchill Memorial Concert.
In a house full of exquisite artefacts, the organ is as beautiful as it's tuneful. But in the basement, directly below the Long Library, the picture isn't quite so pretty.
You've got to repair anything of this style and anything of this age in exactly the same way to an extent as it would have been restored when it was built. So it is obviously a necessarily costly process, but it's well worth doing because it's very unusual for a historic house to have not only an organ, but an organ of this style and this age and this sort of historical importance, really.
This is a gem, this one. but it's had a lot of money and a lot of time spent on it. There are other very, very, very good organs, too numerous to mention to go into, but this is, you know, one of the country's premier organs. It's as simple as that. Like everything else, if you neglect it, it'll pack up on you. This, fortunately, is well looked after.
The engineers are fitting a new humidifier to keep the bellows damp. These days, organ menders are a rare breed.
It is specialised, but it's common engineering practices. Nothing PhD about it, but just good old-fashioned common sense and servicing.
Back upstairs, the organ has been restored to full voice. And the significance of Churchill appears not to have been lost on the health food employees from China.
Blenheim Palace is very, very important in the world. It has been chosen by the United Nations as a special world site. So Blenheim Palace has the same importance in the world for United Nations as the Great Wall of China.
那这里是跟长城同样齐名的地方，以上就纯属他个人吹牛。
It's the evening of one of the most prestigious events in Blenheim's calendar, the Churchill Memorial Concert, and the palace's young waiters are being given their orders. They'll be serving hundreds of VIPs, including the Duke and his special guest, former Soviet President Mikhail Gorbachev.
We do a very comprehensive briefing of exactly what's going to happen, and then we'll do a couple of trial runs. We will actually take the waiters exactly through the paces from where they're going to start serving the food to the food going on the tables. We make sure that they know exactly what they're doing. That's the way we get it right, and it's just practice.
Do not stop and speak to a guest. Your job is basically to serve the food and clear the tables, okay?
No matter how much you plan in advance, no matter how many times you do events, and I've been doing this for a long, long time, things will always pop up. Things will always just be there to throw you. You know, you can get information ahead of time about dietary requirements, you can get information ahead of time about where people are sitting, and then on the night, it just changes, and you just have to respond to that as quickly and as painlessly as possible.
The canapes tonight, for your information, are a carpaccio of beef on a Parmesan sable biscuit, baby Oxford bangers with soft butter mash, Thai fish cakes with sweet chilli dipping sauce, mini tartlets filled with oven-dried tomatoes and basil, and chive gougere with Gruyere cheese. Now, I don't want to hear anyone today, if they're asked, oh, and what's this? What's this we're eating? Say, oh, I don't know, I'll just check. You must know what that canapé is before you go up.
My job on the night is to make sure that the service happens, and sometimes it is pretty much running it like a military operation. You've got to be exact. You've got 4 teams taking out different things. The way that we put the food down, it's got to be, everything is just got to be exactly right.
Whenever you're serving food tonight, you need to wear your white gloves. So has everyone got a pair of white gloves? When you're clearing the table, or if you're serving wine, you don't wear your white gloves. But I don't want to see you taking your white gloves off and on in the room.
As you walk into the kitchen, start putting them on, because all you're going to do is you're going to break service, and you're just really going to annoy me, and I'm going to start shouting at you guys, all right?
The idea is that everybody will try and look the same, well-groomed, well-presented. And again, through years of experience of knowing this, you need to have a little goodie bag of deodorant, hair gel, lipstick, just basically to give the staff just a little bit of polish so that when they do come through, they do look as if they've been groomed.
Winston Churchill said he took 2 of the most important decisions of his life at Blenheim, to be born and to marry. The Great Hall will provide the setting for the £500 a head dinner in his memory. The formal black tie affair begins with a champagne reception, an opportunity to mingle. The concert will buy time for Blenheim's hospitality team to transform the Great Hall into a vast dining room for more than 100 privileged guests. With so much riding on the occasion, it isn't long before the pressure begins to tell.
What happened?
Sorry about that. Just giving directions and, direct.
Okay, get this back to get the tray back there. And get somebody to bring a cloth. Ask Karen. Mind the floor's wet.
It's not the first time champagne's been spilled on the Great Hall's marble floor, and Henny's well rehearsed for the eventuality, taking command of the clean-up operation.
Just dry all of that. I'll get some more cloths all around there.
Despite Winston Churchill coining the phrase, the Iron Curtain, the Duke thinks his godfather would approve of President Gorbachev's invitation to Blenheim.
I think he would have been delighted. I mean, he participated in the Russian talks a lot of the time. And I think to realise that the person who had started the Glasnost and Postnota was coming to Blenheim and telling everybody exactly what he thought of the state of the world today.
With the Duke's butler leading the way, President Gorbachev makes his entrance, accompanied by the concert's patron, Churchill's daughter, Lady Soames.
Can you just all move up that way slightly? Just get away. We've got scaffolding in the background. Can you keep
President Gorbachev's policies led to Moscow loosening its grip on Eastern Europe and resulted in the breakup of the Soviet Union. He's now a much sought-after speaker on the international circuit.
Guys, tables downstairs.
Speaking through his interpreter, it's apparent President Gorbachev is an admirer of Churchill.
I have read the memoirs and also two books about Churchill, published in Russian.
The butler shows the Duke's party to their seats.
Guys, you need to be quicker, please. This is not a difficult job. Just pull it. Flat on its legs. Right there.
Mr. President, Your Excellencies, my lords, ladies and gentlemen, a very warm welcome to the 41st Churchill Memorial Concert.
With the guests safely contained in the long library, the well-oiled operation to prepare the Great Hall for the gala dinner begins.
Okay, that table. See?
Even Blenheim's chief executive mucks in.
It's going very well, but now it's the real rush on now because we've just got obviously very limited time to get everything ready. 162 people to dine in here in a couple of hours' time, so we've got to make it very special.
It's gone absolutely fine. We've just got to be quiet and quick. Everything's coming up from downstairs where we were earlier today.
No pressure then?
None at all. Look at me, I'm an oasis of calm. What you see?
A wow effect is obviously always what one aims for in this occasion. You're coming into a wow space. The Great Hall is a stunning room and it's got huge impact in space and height. Clearly the tables layouts need to be absolutely perfect so that as they walk through here and they take their first glance at the Great Hall laid for dinner, those that don't know us or haven't been here before, literally we need to take their breath away.
Those plates that you took back downstairs, go fetch them for me quickly, please. These need to go on them. Just go fetch the plates.
Some waitresses will be told you're just doing side knives. Some waitresses will be told you're doing main course knives. Some people get forks, you know what I mean? And they're just literally going to go around the whole room and do what their bit is. So the tables came up first, then the linen goes down, and now you see everybody knows what they're doing. I'm a fork girl, I'm a spoon girl, you know? So they're just going to lay out the table, and in about 20 minutes' time we should be done.
So there is a real system to it?
Yes. It may not look like it, but there is.
Guys, this table is skew. This is His Grace's table. Very low-tech solution.
Normally it's a little plastic bit that the table comes off. So.
Just lift it, put it down.
Because we've got to keep our voices down, normally we would probably yell a little bit more, but I think we're absolutely fine. We'll be done, dusted, and we'll have time for a glass of champagne before we start to serve.
This table's got a crease in there now. It's just... It's better than it was. Just straighten that.
Emerging from the long library, Lady Soames tells President Gorbachev how her father loved playing toy soldiers. The meal will be served from the wings of the Great Hall. The chef has set up camp in the middle of the Churchill exhibition.
When they built the palace, nobody thought that in 300 years we're going to be doing the kind of events that we're doing now. Where are your apron?
I gave it in last time they was collected.
There was one behind the bar. Go ask the girl behind the bar. Find it. So the kitchens are all at different levels. Everything is far away. So what we have to do is we have to put in a finishing kitchen in a very small confined space. We've got lots of people in there. It is just a lot of pressure. And because of the time and the way that we have to do dinner for His Grace, it has to be very quick, very efficient, and always right the first time. Guys, I need a sense of urgency, please. And why are you without gloves?
In the reception.
I need somebody with gloves to take here. Come, guys, take straight out. Gloves on, please. I told you. Could you take that? Give it to Judith. That's for President Gorbachev. She'll know where that goes. Just changed his mind.
We had a rider come through to say that he didn't like fish. So we preempted that, and he did like tomato and mozzarella, so we got that ready for him. But he said no, he was going to have the fish. But he seems fine. He's drinking, I think, cherry brandy with ice at the moment, so I think he's having a very nice evening. This next bit is where it gets a little bit complicated. We're doing blanket service with the meat and then silver service with the vegetables. And we don't normally do it like this, so we'll just have to say there's quite a lot of people involved and everybody needs to know what their job is. Veggie Boy 1 has to do this and Veggie Boy 2 has to do this, and everybody has to remember what they've got to do.
The first table that goes out, you really make sure, as Helen likes to put it, soigner, which is a French term for with care, I think, or slowly. You just make the effort that it is actually spot on. For example, we know with His Grace that he likes the plates piping hot, potatoes really crunchy, so, I'm not saying that he gets a better meal, but he gets a better meal.
Blenheim has received the latest of many distinguished guests, a man whose place in Russian and indeed world history is assured. But tomorrow, it'll be business as usual. Next time on Blenheim, A Knight's Tale on the South Lawn. And ghostly hijinks? Or just gremlins in the works of Blenheim's new high-tech attraction?
We have a problem with the machinery. We are there,